So this lockdown conversation is with 3 bike projects from different parts of Scotland. Just Cycle from the Borders, the Bike Station from Edinburgh and Perth, and Angus Cycle Hub.
Okay, so it's been pretty severe. It's like, at the start of this crisis, we didn't know if we were going to have to furlough people and stuff.
The recycling centres closed. We couldn't accept public donations. We're never really in lockdown, so they weren't able to come out anyway. And all but 2 of our volunteers were shielding. So yes, it had a massive impact on us. Literally brought us to a grinding halt.
But when we did reopen, we had a reduced team. Some people were shielding, so they couldn't come into work. We took the difficult decision to stop volunteers coming in. We just didn't want to expose them to the risks. So we had less income, and we also couldn't do all our planned activities that we would have normally done, like doctor bike sessions, going out and fixing people's bikes in the community, guided rides, training sessions, all that sort of thing.
Started off doing a lot of support, doing free servicing for key workers, and again some of that was through Cycling UK, and it's moved on again to doing work in key hub schools in Angus to support bikeability delivery for the local authority, and obviously continued delivery of bike recycling in the region as well. We've worked with a large provider in Dundee, Dover Fueling Solutions, and so at one point they were sending lorries to us, and we were actually providing lorry loads of recycled bikes to their staff to enable them to use that to travel during the crisis.
The Borders is a rural area, limited bus service. It's difficult for transport anyway, so we had the idea to put on a bike library, which were a free service that allowed key workers to come along and get access to a fully serviced bicycle, recycled bicycle that went through our workshop, and use it for as long as necessary to get to and from work. And we called it a library because the last thing we wanted to do, and we didn't know how long it was going to last, the last thing we wanted it to do is end up back in landfill.
Hero Bikes was our main response, and that scheme provided free bikes to key workers because we knew that key workers were in need of safe and affordable transport, and also something to just help them get on in their lives when they're on the front line and working in really difficult circumstances. So we've given out over 200 bikes now, about half in Edinburgh and half in Perth.
And so we were doing a lot of free bike servicing. So we put it out to the community to see who we could support.
Those bikes would have sat there and done nothing, or we could use them for the benefit of the community. And obviously they've come from the community. So it really positive.
We've just been overwhelmed by the response and just how much of an impact it's had for people. We had one guy who said that the bike essentially saved his life. And I think none of us were expecting that it would have that much impact. And he said that his bus was cancelled. He needed to be able to get to work to support his family, and it was too far to walk, so he couldn't have done that without the bike. So that changed his life. Also, there's the health benefits, mental health. Just we donated some bikes or loaned some bikes to a group of doctors, and they were working on the front line. And to be able to use a bike to come back and to chill, there's so many benefits to cycling. Other people have talked about having peace of mind from not having to use public transport anymore, so they're not worried about passing on infection to people they're working with or to their families if they've got people shielding at home.
At the moment, we're looking about 16, 17 tons worth of bikes that have come through the project that would have gone to landfill or scrap since the outbreak began. I think this year is going to be an interesting one just for the industry. The uptake of cycling at the start of the crisis was massive.
Certainly during lockdown, the roads were completely clear, so it was beautiful for cycling. People were happy to cycle on those roads. Transport emissions, so the emissions sector that's proving one of the hardest to shift, if not the hardest to shift and actually reduce. We're making savings in other areas, but not transport. And the area that's growing is private vehicle emissions. So if you can cut that, if you can show people that it's possible to cycle for short journeys, that could have a really big impact on a sector that's been really hard to crack.
Supporting the grassroots organisations, I think, is more needs to be done. And I think in terms of, we need to thank CRNS for joining up with all of these grassroots organisations as well. That makes a massive difference to us. The fact that we have a communication channel that a lot of us can jet backwards and forwards ideas. I would like to see
the facility set up near a reuse centre like they do abroad, and we could open maybe Just Cycle near a recycling centre where people can just bring the bikes directly to us, because I'm sure that we do miss a lot of bikes, even though we're getting between 40 and 60 a week. I'm sure there's a lot more in landfill.
I mean, active travel seems to be at the forefront of a lot of people's minds, and so there's the funding seems to be picking up year on year.
If they saw the potential for active travel and really embraced it, I think that would be it. And if they built on what we've got and how much people have enjoyed cycling and taken to it when the opportunity is there, they need to keep that opportunity open.